Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's Lemurian Donna Carol, and I'm back again, but I am back on Monday nights now instead of Sunday nights. So I will be channeling every Monday night on this YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 Eastern times. So today, what I would like to do is bring in some guides to help us clear and cleanse our blood, the blood that we've inherited from our father and from our mother, and going back to clear the bloodlines as much as possible in one sitting. So I was watching a spiritual teacher on YouTube the other day. She was recommended by a viewer of this channel. Her name is Z, spelled XI. And she gave a very, very eloquent talk about the bloodlines and why it's so important that we have to clear our ancestry, basically the trauma, the negativity, everything that we've inherited through our blood so that we can ascend, which I definitely agree with 100%. So essentially, we have inherited not just the physical characteristics and the emotional characteristics that come from our parents. We've also inherited a genetic lineage that encases and encompasses the feelings, the history, the genes, and basically the trauma of our ancestors. So if your great, 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 great grandmother died from famine as a result of war, that comes directly to you in your bloodstream, unless it was cleared out after she experienced the starvation. So all of the trauma from all of your ancestors gets passed down, and it's within you, and it's alive. And basically, it is our job as light workers during this time of the great shift upon the planet to clear out all of these traumas that we've inherited, because we can't really ascend unless we clear our karma. That means the karma of our past lives and also the karma from our ancestors. And it is true that if you, let's say you had a past life 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, oftentimes light workers and other beings as well, they incarnate in the same genetic lines. So you could have been incarnating way back in your genetic history as an ancestor of yourself. So that could be your past life, and then you're also inheriting the blood or the product of the blood from that incarnation. So oftentimes light workers are very interested in experiencing the new Lemuria or the new Atlantis, or communing with the dolphins, communing with the whales, talking to their angels, astral traveling, star traveling. And all of these things are amazing and wonderful. But job number one, priority number one, is cleansing yourself and releasing anything that's going to hold you back from ascending to the new earth. So, basically, blood is liquid, and being liquid, it can hold and it can move emotional impressions within the body. I don't pretend that I know all the mysteries of blood, but there are many. I mean, honestly, why do you think so many satanic rituals involve blood and bloodletting. If there were no power in it, they wouldn't do it. So we also need to be aware of how powerful the blood is, because it contains so much information, and it also contains so much trauma that our ancestors have experienced. And I want to tell you right now, excuse me for coughing, that, I grew up in the 70s, and I will tell you right now that it was a different world back then. People were a little bit more abrupt. The older generation did not mince words. Kids were spanked. Basically, it was a little bit more brutal back then just to be alive, okay? Because people weren't politically correct. They did not consider the other's emotions first. They basically lived their life, and, they had these deep rooted belief systems. And if you were not pulling your weight, or if you were not doing what they thought you needed to do, you were told, that you needed to change. Things are a little bit softer now as far as the judgments of other people. I don't know if this is making sense, but information and criticism that was tolerated 50 years ago would not be tolerated in the media or the mainstream today. It just wouldn't. And I was thinking about the lives of my parents, born during the Depression in this country. My goodness, I mean, it was a time where, 10-year-olds were working. People pulled them up by their bootstraps. I mean, there was no, oh, yes, you're going to get better. There was not a lot of coddling, okay? And I can see this attitude actually reflected in the elders that are living today. I can see, and this is a stereotype or a generalization, but talking to the elders, they're kind of tough, I'm talking about the 80, 90-year-olds. They don't mince words. They'll tell it like it is, and they carry a lot of anger, and they're the first ones to tell you what you need to do to change your life and direction. But, back then, when I was young, when I was a kid, nobody, except maybe enlightened masters in Tibet, were working on healing themselves and healing the collective consciousness. Okay, I mean, it was not a thing. I really feel like the 60s, that generation when the hippies were imbibing the history of ancient India and looking to gurus to further their enlightenment process, that was a real turning point, not just in the consciousness of humanity in the West, but it came to people like, hey, we really need to heal these things. Hey, we really need to stop going to war. You know, Vietnam, I mean, nobody questioned going to war in World War II or Korea or World War I, or, the Spanish-American War was expected. And if you didn't go to war, you were a coward. And during Vietnam, the younger generation started to question, like, why are we going to war? Why are we killing each other? Over political differences. I mean, it was really quite new. Um, the older generations were heavily programmed and conditioned. Hey, if you weren't married and childbearing by the time you were 25, then you were just a loser. People did not have the freedom to make the choices that we have today. And a lot of this is because of the rebels, basically the indigo rays that came in starting in the 50s and 60s. It said, hey, we need to shake things up here. Things have got to change. And so we have the freedom today to do what we want to do and to live our lives the way we want to live them, because our elders, or, the generation before us started questioning the norms, the belief systems, and the conditioned responses. And we still need to do that because, hey, look, I'm looking out there, and most people on a Monday night would rather be watching their little satanic TV show over the networks. Why do you think they're called networks? ABC, NBC, CBS, because they keep you within a net. They keep you within a frequency that involves sound programming. Entertainment is a great, great, great manipulation for the most part, as far as the collective and mainstream. And, I'm talking about musicals, I'm talking about plays, I'm talking about TV shows, even books. How many people would rather, watch a stupid TV show than meditate for a half an hour? How many people would rather engage in hedonistic pleasures rather than working on their own cleansing, which means cleaning your karma and really, really ruminating and thinking about your ancestors and how they did things and why we have inherited the mess that we've inherited in this world is because people for thousands of years never questioned warfare, fighting for the feudal lord, or killing things. The might is right philosophy, that was how we lived for thousands and thousands of years, really since the fall of Lemuria. We've been living like this probably for at least 26,000 years, I would say. And, finally, people are waking up like, hey, I don't have to go to war because my government tells me that I need to. Hey, I don't have to eat meat because because everybody else does. Hey, I don't have to, drink alcohol and get totally wasted on a Friday night because it's cool, because that is the accepted norm. It's time for us to really think about how we live our lives, how we want to live our lives, and to engage in processes that cleanse us. Because before you can feel joy and bliss, you got to clean out all the dross. All of it's got to go. Or, you know what I'm saying? A lot of it's got to go before you're going to get into those higher states of consciousness. So anyhow, I just, I'm kind of on my soapbox, but I'm wondering when, everyone says, oh, everyone's waking up and, everything's changing. And I'm like, well, it's news to me because nobody's woken up in my family. They're not awake. They're not working on their spiritual evolution. They are still very mainstream. I don't see the great awakening like other people see it. Maybe I'm just not around the individuals that are waking up and getting on their spiritual path very firmly. But I will say that I was told by my guru a long time ago that there would be earth changes, and everyone's freaking out like, oh, we don't want earth changes and we want things to stay the same. We don't want a loss of death, we don't want death, and we don't want a loss of life. But if you think about it, there's been earth changes every time a civilization runs its course. There were massive earth changes in Atlantis more than once. There were earth changes when Lemuria went down. It's part and parcel of the, you could say, evolution of Earth. And my guru was very specific, and he said that when there's a lot of war on the land, the blood drips into the land, and it causes a lot of hardship for Mother Earth, who has to process all this bloodletting on her body. And he said very specifically, and this is an Indian master from India, but he wrote a book and he said that, Europe's got to go down because Europe is a very small piece of real estate. If you look at the world, Russia, Greenland, even Antarctica, huge, huge pieces of land, North America. But Europe, in a very small contained piece of land, had so much warfare, really since the fall of Atlantis, had so much bloodletting, was really actually the power center of Satanism. And because of all that blood that's gone into the land must go under the water for thousands of years to be cleansed by the seawater so that it can be restored to a state of balance. Now, that makes sense to me, and whether that comes to be or not is irrelevant. I'm just letting you know that one of the reasons why the earth turns and cleanses and has earthquakes and tsunamis and volcanoes erupting is because it's trying to rid itself of all the trauma that the earthlings have put on it. And one of the major causes of trauma is warfare, when there's bloodletting on the earth. And people think, oh, well, these individuals, this country's fighting this country over land. They want someone's land, or they want the minerals. They want the oil deposits from their neighbor. But on the higher level, if you go up a notch, when countries engage in warfare and there's bloodletting, it's really a satanic ritual. All of those people that die in anger and hatred, it's a letting go of the blood that is fed to demons. The demons feed off of that. It's very spiritual. The arms race is not about money or, having one up on your neighbor. Really, countries and peoples go to war, but in the higher spiritual states, when they kill each other, they're feeding the demons, and the devil is just manipulating and wanting as much warfare as possible. So you might want to consider that before you go off to fight for a king or a politician or a president or a prime minister. And you might want to consider that before your kids join the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force, because at the highest levels, it's basically a ritual, a spiritual ritual. And that's not to say that if someone comes in your home, you wouldn't defend yourself. I'm not saying that, but I don't rely on the physical to defend myself. I rely on Archangel Michael, the spiritual warrior protection angels. I rely on the higher entities to protect me. I will never have a gun. I will never have an armed weapon because I don't need them. I've got angels. And so, but I have the faith. I try not to live in fear. And some people don't have those belief systems, so they have to get an AK-47 or whatever it is. But I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend it. So ultimately, we're searching for peace. We're searching for spiritual enlightenment. We're searching for higher frequencies. And we're trying to bring Lemuria back and bring all of these beautiful ages and civilizations of humanity back. But it's going to be useless unless you clear yourself of your karma from your past lives. And you also very much have to clear the blood that you've inherited in this particular incarnation. And I will tell you, it would be hard to find a, more difficult bloodline to incarnate in than I did in this incarnation. I mean, it was just rifled with Satanism, incest, abuse on all levels and all ages. There are members in my immediate family, not my immediate family, but I guess I could say extended family, that are high level satanic members of the satanic religion. And of course, as a kid, I'm around all these people and I had no idea. I didn't realize it until I was in my 50s. So I couldn't have, everything was very much hush hush and under the radar when I was a kid. But, growing up, having severe PTSD, depression, anxiety, being miserable, is this the human condition? And it's because I was surrounded by all these very evil people, literally. So you may have this problem in your bloodline. And by the way, um, the satanic energies do not exclude any race, religion, or ethnicity. Because I have a good friend that's a healer who's half Native American, and her father practiced satanic ritual abuse on her and many, many, many other children. And he was, full-blooded Indian, American Indian, Native. So it's everywhere. It's in every culture, literally in every culture. I mean, unless you're living with the Lemurians underground in Telos, you really can't escape it. It's in our culture. It's in our media. And I mean, I'll just tell you that I shouldn't say a lot, but many light workers who people go to for information, for healing, for advice, they're satanic. They're satanic, okay? Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they talk light, they look light, they write these best-selling light books, and it's encoded Satanism. And I will stand by that. I'm not going to out any names because that's not what I'm here to do. But I have access to the higher dimensions, and I can see individuals, without their masks in the astral plane. And I know who's who and what's what for the most part. And there's so many people that are fooled. So I don't know what the answer is. A lot of people are off track. They're trying to better themselves, and they're following a bunch of people that are misleading them. I guess you need to refer to your own heart, or you need to really test any guru or system that you're in. So anyhow, I guess I kind of went off on my soapbox tonight, but it is very important to clear the blood however you can do it. So that's what we're going to work with today. And the blood in the human body goes way, 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 way back because you inherit it from your mother and her mother and her mother through the birth process. So, you could be dealing with ancestors that did something 2,000 years ago that's playing out in your blood right now. Okay. So what I thought we would do is I would bring in the guides. I'm going to get into a channeled state for this, and we'll ask them to, however they're going to do it, clear the mother's side so that you can release the ancestors. You don't need them in your life. You don't need their past behaviors guiding you at this time. And people get guided subliminally. They get guided subconsciously because you could have inherited this, trait or this fetish or this, desire from your ancestors. So they're contacting you through the blood, and then you have the entities around you, the lower entities contacting you outside of your body. I mean, you have to be really, really strong and very, very light filled to avoid the traps of humanity this day and age. And that's why it's very good to call on the tried and true, which is Yeshua, the angels. You can't go wrong when you call on these individuals, you know. And don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by all these people out there that are going to tell you, oh, yeah, you're going to be ascended and it takes 1.5 years and you can do these exercises with it takes a lot of work to reach the stages of enlightenment. It takes many lifetimes, usually. And hopefully, once we clear the collective consciousness, that won't be true any longer. But I have been working on my own spiritual healing since 1996 when I started my meditation practice. And I still I still have stuff to heal in my body. It's crazy. I'm like, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to be healed? Of course, I'm a lot better off than I used to be, but I have made a commitment to do my healing fully and in this incarnation, because I really don't want to come back again here. I've been here since Lemuria. It's time for me to move on, and I need to be fully healed before that can happen. And I've been working at it a very long time, but it is true that I picked a very difficult bloodline. So, and I feel like, where would the challenge be if you didn't, right? I didn't come here for a vacation. If you're a star seed, and especially like some of the newer star seeds, I think that they picked very challenging bloodlines. And they're in the thick of it right now, looking at it from the outside, like my friend who chose her father. Looking at it from the outside, it seems doable, but then once you're in it and living it, it's very, very challenging, as you know. Okay, well, I'm going to call in the guides and we will get started. At this time, I would like to call in my highest and best healing and channeling guides. I would like to call in all of your highest and best healing and channeling guides. I would like to call in the archangels Ariel, Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. I'm asking for millions and millions of warrior protection angels around each of us during this live stream and around all of those watching the video later. Please block all negative entities, energies, and thought forms. I'm asking for the cleansing angels to come in, the highest and best cleansing angels for your particular incarnation and your particular bloodline. And then I ask the Arcturians to come in if we need their help to recoup ourselves after the cleansing. I ask that this session be overlit by the Mother Goddess of ancient Lemuria. Please direct me. Please keep my frequency high as we do this work. And please oversee this session, making sure that everybody is cleansed to their utmost ability, but not over cleansed. In other words, we want everyone to remain safe and in a good state of being. Okay. So go ahead and take a couple deep breaths in and out. Okay. So first of all, we ask Archangel Michael to be present and oversee the cleansing process of the bloodlines within each of your bodies. We ask Archangel Michael to come into our crowns and into our hearts. Under his direction, we bring in many, many warrior protection angels into our hearts. And now we have the intention of cleaning the matriarchal bloodline. So we bring cleansing angels into our crowns and into our right brain. We ask the cleansing angels to go inside the right brain. We ask Archangel Michael and warrior protection angels to open portals to our past, to our ancestors. We ask that you open the portals of any of the ancestors who are trapped in negative dimensions. Open the portals to any of the energy that the ancestors have deposited in our right brain that is less than divine. We ask that The cleansing angels go in and clean any trauma, cleaning any feelings of poverty, persecution, mutilation, sexual abuse, physical abuse, execution, humiliation, all of these experiences that we have inherited from our mothers, ancestors in the right brain. We ask that they be lifted by the cleansing angels, taken out of our right brain. We ask that these energies be transmuted into source and released into the light. We ask that the warrior protection angels open any portals to any stuck ancestors. If any of these ancestors would like to leave their current situation, the dimension in which they are locked, we are giving them access. We ask for angels to assist them to centers of angelic rehabilitation and cleansing for their highest good. Okay, and just breathe out any stress, any trauma, any type of energy that you're feeling. Let it go. Don't get attached to it. And we send the ancestors on their way. Just breathe it out, whatever it is. Okay, I want you to breathe in divine breath, the breath of God that each of you holds within you to give you strength and purpose as you release your ancestors' trauma in the right brain on your mother's side. Okay. So now we're going to move on. We bring the warrior protection angels and cleansing angels firmly into our hearts. We ask that the left side of the body be cleansed. Any blood in the left side of the body that the ancestors have deposited that is causing havoc or pain or grief in our life, we open the portals to release the ancestors so they can go to a higher dimension, and we release all of the energies in the blood that are anything less than divine from the left side of our body. Okay. Continuing to release impressions from the left side of the body within the blood itself. Okay, we're going to stop that for now. I ask the cleansing angels to look inside the right brain and left body and clean out any dross, any residue, any leftovers from those impressions and from those ancestors. Just a cleanup crew going into the blood cells, into the liquid blood, and cleaning up any residue. Okay, very good. We ask the angels to kind of guard the portal entries and exits, keeping everything in homeostasis and balance, while we move to the other side of our bodies, which is the father's lineage. So bringing in your highest and best cleansing angels into the left brain of your body. We ask that they release any negative emotions, curses, any type of trauma from your father and his ancestors, released from the left brain. And just breathe it out. And again. Now we cross down into our body, into the hearts. Going into the hearts, we ask the cleansing angels to release any trauma from our father's ancestors from the right side of the body. Also, if these ancestors would like to leave their existing dimension and go for healing or go to a higher dimension with the angels, we ask Archangel Michael to make that possible. So here we go. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Okay, this is very interesting. So now we ask the cleansing angels, warrior protection angels, and Michael, along with the power of the Mother Goddess of Lemuria, to go into the left brain, right body, left body, and we're asking for a total clearing as much as possible of the bloodlines from the mother and father, our mother and father. Here we go. Keep clearing. Let the entities pass. Let the impressions pass out of your body. We ask if there's any negative genetic inheritance from any of our ancestors in our conditioned responses or mind programming that we've inherited that is not for our benefit. We're asking the angels to cleanse it out. Cleanse out mind programming, conditioned responses, negative behaviors, ideas, and thought forms. And release any stinginess of the heart, meaning greed or meaning withholding loving emotions. Release all of that. Release any trauma held in the blood, any martyrs, any executions, any violent deaths, any engagement in warfare, any poverty, any shame, any humiliation, any stress, any anxiety, any bending your will to fit into the collective and the consciousness of your peers when it was a low vibration or a low frequency. Get rid of all of this. We ask angels to clear it out from our bodies and subtle bodies, please. Cleanse our hearts. Our hearts pump the blood. Our hearts receive these impressions directly. So please cleanse the heart of all of these things. Just release the anger and pain of our ancestors. Okay, very good. So now we bring in the Arcturians, our friends from the Bootes constellation. We ask them to help us. As the angels deposit the highest frequency in our minds, hearts, and bodies, we ask the Arcturians to come in into our hearts and oxygenate the heart with new blood. So we're oxygenating the blood with the Arcturians to help dissolve any of our ancestors' baggage. So bringing them in and bringing in the correct amount of oxygen for you to transcend this energy at this time through the heart, and the oxygen will go into your arteries, your veins, into your blood cells, and it will actually impact you on an atomic level and subatomic level, bringing in the highest frequency of the divine and amplifying that with new blood, new oxygen in your bodies. This is spiritual ozone therapy. And as the Arcturians work, we ask them to restructure our physical bodies to deal with our higher frequency at this point from the release. Bring in the best structures for our heart, our blood cells, for our arteries and nerves where the blood is coursing through the veins. So look at the entire circulatory system and bring in the best structure for it at this time. And again, increase the oxygen levels. This should help you sleep a little better too. Breathing in and out, in and out. Just breathe out anything less than the divine. We ask for new hearts, for our hearts to be reborn. We're asking for more compassion, more patience, more tolerance, the ability to see from others' perspectives. We're asking for more unconditional love, more joy, more fun, more bliss. We're asking for an elevation of the heart. And we ask the Lemurian Mother Goddess to grant this wish to us now. Make us bright and shiny and new in how we view and how we live in our existing reality. And now, if you would, using your newly amplified heart, your higher frequency heart, please send love to all of your ancestors who have had difficult lives for the most part. So many problems, but joys as well. But send them love, unconditional love, send them high energy, send them thanks, because if it weren't for their DNA and their procreation skills, you wouldn't be here. So go ahead and just send love to all of your ancestors right now on your mother's line and on your father's line. We love you. We thank you for being on earth and living the lives that you did. We ask for your highest spiritual evolution. We ask for your healing, and we ask that you continue on your spiritual journeys, no matter where they take you, so that you can experience love in all of its grandeur and glory. And sooner rather than later, we send you so much love. We forgive you for any trespasses, any occurrences of low frequency that you have transmitted to us unknowingly. We forgive you. We ask and pray for your highest healing. We support you, and we wish you only that you find your own true divinity within your own soul at this time. We grant you access to our guides from the celestial realms, from the light realms of the extraterrestrials. If you need their help, their knowledge, their skill in delivering you from your past, we ask the ETs and angels to commune with you now and help you in whatever way possible. As they love you unconditionally and are here to help humanity heal the wounded collective consciousness from their forebears, from our forebears. We bring you gifts of the Spirit. We bring you the love of the Mother Goddess. We bring you the love of Archangel Michael and all of the angels and archangels. Share in that divine love, that divine energy. Give up your fear. Let go of your resistance. The one good thing about life is that you're never stuck. There's an opportunity around every corner, around every lifetime. Avail yourselves to the love and guidance of the divine guides who will not steer you wrong and take you to the best place possible for you. So if you have been hiding out and wanting to leave and wanting to move from the place in which you're at, now is the time to do it. Archangel Michael's here. The Lemurian Mother Goddess is here, and the warrior protection angels are here. So if any of you want to leave and move and go to a better reality, we make that happen for you at this time. Lift yourselves. We thank you for your service. We thank you for your existence. Whether you are a queen or a beggar, it doesn't matter. Every human life is valuable, and every human life is a way to learn lessons that we all need to learn so that we can become better beings, and not just better humans, but better multidimensional beings. We pray for the unity consciousness of humankind. We pray that all of our brothers and sisters can see the light in each other's eyes, can see the divine reflected in all humans, all animals, all plants, all minerals. Let us evolve. Let us evolve. Let us reach the highest states possible in this incarnation, and let us be guided by the highest frequency spirits out there. And so now Archangel Michael and the warrior protection angels come back, and they close any open portals in your body. And if any of those spirits decided not to go, you can always re-listen to this tape. And maybe at another point they will leave, because it probably will be for their best good. Okay, so I'm ending conscious communication with the guides. We love you and thank you for your work. Amen. Oh, well. This is Donna Carol. I'm back. Thank you for being here. This was a long session. I talked a lot, and then the healing was a little bit longer today, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you feel like you need to do this video again in a week, in a month, in a year, it's here, so you can avail yourselves to it. Check out different spiritual authors and teachers. They might have a beautiful nugget of truth for you. You might need to connect to them. People are like stepping stones. We need to connect with various people so that they can kind of give us a boost up and a lift up so that we can get on our path even more strongly. So I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation. And I really wish you enlightenment. Forget about ascension. Let's all just become enlightened. But seriously, have a good week. Thank you for your efforts in improving your consciousness, because as a human, that's what it's all about. That's why we have these human bodies. We have the capability to access the spiritual realms and access the multidimensional parts of ourselves. And we're here in this lifetime to heal. So make it so. Take care, and I wish you the best. Bye. Lemurian Donna Carol.